Welcome to Old Fox Racing PlayStation late coverage of round 2 of the Backpain GT series. That's of course the GT3 series featuring GT3 circuits. And round 2 here at Imola. It's the second round after 2 races at Bathurst. And we should have an amazing race here today at Imola with the Audi R8 LMS GT3 car, and we are going to go through the starting grid as usual. We have a slightly smaller field today compared to the usual numbers, and it's Jorge Jesus that is on pole position, and of course Jorge Jesus won the 2 races at Bathurst. He's already making a statement that he is a driver to win this championship, followed by Imola in row 1. Second row, it's Del Taylor and Diogo Almeida. Third row, Andrew Dalby and Diogo Silva. Fourth row, it's Scott Davely and Sid Waters. And in 9th place, alone on the 5th row, it is Kev Allen. Let's go trackside and let's go and watch this race. We have 12 laps here at Imola, and away they go, and it's a good start by pretty much everyone. Jorge Jesus retains the lead. Second place, Imola. Other drivers trying not to hit each other as they get to, for the first time, to the Tamburello chicane, and it is Jorge Jesus that basically is in the lead, and Imola in second place. And look at them already running away from other drivers. We have there's already a crash there at the back. A crash at the back. 2 drivers involved in it. That's Sid Waters is one of the drivers. We'll identify the other driver is Kev Allen. No, it's not Kev Allen. Oh, we have leaderboard problems. We have leaderboard problems, and we are going to have to find out who it is that is involved in this crash, and it is Del Taylor. Let's have a look at Del Taylor. Del Taylor, what a shame. He was very well classified in the starting grids, and we'll find a replay of this. We hope that the leaderboard fixes itself, otherwise it's quite tricky. The other driver, I believe it's Andrew Dalby, that was involved in this incident as they collided, as Del Taylor, and there Del Taylor was in 4th place. Del Taylor in 4th place. This is the replay of the start. Diogo Almeida has a good start. Up into 3rd place goes Diogo Almeida. Top 3 are Portuguese. Del Taylor into Tamburello. He hasn't had the best of starts. And here comes the number 09. That's Diogo Silva side by side into Tamburello. And this is possibly where... and there's a touch there. There's a touch between Diogo Silva. And then there is carnage, of course, because Del Taylor did go around the track, but this was just the slightest of touches. Let's have a replay from Diogo's perspective. Diogo Silva, by the way, up into 4th place, but this incident with Del Taylor, will have another close look there to see who ran into the path of whom. And there you see, there is the view from Diogo Silva's chase camera. And they are, Del Taylor is ahead at this point, but Diogo Silva is going to try to run side by side. Del sees him and gives space, and Diogo is now slightly ahead, and they are going to try to go through the second corner side by side, which should be possible, but then they just point the car to the same place, probably racing incident territory there. And I believe the other driver was Andrew Dalby that was involved in this. No, it was Sid Waters. I apologize. It was Sid Waters, and Sid Waters is in 8th place. And 9th place is now Del Taylor. Keep an eye on their recovery. We are waiting for the leaderboard to fix itself. Fortunately, we only have 9 cars. There's the top 4, all Portuguese drivers, and in 5th place it is Andrew Dalby, I believe, at the top of this group. Yes, there he is, Andrew Dalby. No, it's not Andrew Dalby, it's actually and Andrew Dalby spins. Andrew Dalby spins. Fortunately, we're following him. All sorts of things happening, and the leaderboard is not working, so we'll try to reconstruct. The top 4 are here. That's Jorge Jesus, Delphi Moura. In 3rd place is Diogo Almeida. 4th place is Diogo Silva. Now, who's in 5th? Must be Scott Davely. Yes, it is Scott Davely in 5th place. No, it's not. It's Kev Allen. Yes, it's Kev Allen. Kev Allen, nice start there. Up into 5th place from 9th on the grid. 6th is Scott Davely. And then we've got 3 drivers who were affected by various incidents. Andrew Dalby is there in 7th, followed by Sid Waters, and Dale Taylor is still running 9th. As we are going to go into the first lap of this race, and we now have a sense of the leaderboard. Let's see if the leaderboard fixes itself. Well, it's not fixing itself, so we'll have to see what's going on at the front. Unfortunately, we may not be able to follow every battle in this field. And George Zush is making good use of his pole position, as he is right at the front. We don't have gaps either. This gap looks like it's just under a second. Let's go to 5th place man, who is Kev Allen, followed by Scott Davely, followed by Andrew Dalby. Andrew Dalby, again, another mistake there at the Villeneuve chicane. Andrew Dalby not having the start of the race that he wanted, as he is in 7th and now getting caught by Sid Waters and also by Dale Taylor. Meanwhile, we'll check back here at the front to see, well, at least the lap counter is working. We are on lap 2. The top 4 continue to be in the same view, but already separated by maybe 4 or 5 seconds, as George Zush continues to lead this race. 3rd place man, that number 44 of Diogo Almeida, followed by Diogo Silva. Let's have a look again at the battle for 5th place with Kev Allen now sitting 5th, and Kev Allen is checking out a little bit from Scott Davely there, the American driver, and they're both checking out from Andrew Dalby. Andrew, let's see whether he can recover. He seems to have the pace, but not the consistency. That number 43 Audi. Dale Taylor, by the way, is still in 9th and recovering. This is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Fortunately, we have basically 2 groups in this race that are easier to follow even without the leaderboard. As George Zush completes another lap, he is now in his 3rd lap out of 12. And the top 4, well, not many wheel-to-wheel battles here at this point. George Zush continues to lead in that 08, followed by Delphi Moura, followed by Diogo Almeida. And Diogo Silva is getting closer. Diogo Silva is closer to Diogo Almeida. This could be our first interesting battle here. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's go back to Scott Davely. And Scott is, well, look at this. This group of 5 is going to become more interesting for sure, as Kev Allen is really not able to check out that much from Scott Davely, as the number 08 continues to lead this race, and George Zush is going for 3 in a row. If he can keep on and maintain momentum and maintain this, look at this, the top 2 are actually checking out from 3rd and 4th, as George Zush really going wide there. A little bit of track limits situation there. Of course, track limits are turned off, but they are being monitored, and George Zush just a little bit wide there, followed by, oh, look at this, Diogo Almeida is under pressure from Diogo Silva. The Diogos are at it for 3rd place. We'll keep an eye on this battle and see if any action is going to come out of it. Look at Scott Davely. Scott is really now has caught with Kev Allen, and also something we haven't seen is that Andrew Dalby has made another mistake, most likely, and we are going to rewind and try to understand what happened here, because it may have been contact. Yes, the car is stopped at the Variante Alta, and he did not have any help. It was just self-inflicted, and he just basically spins into that block there, and nice recovery there, and he's now trying to do the rest of the lap in reverse. But he's in 9th spot. Up into 8th goes Dale Taylor. Up into 7th goes Sid Waters. And then we've got the battle now as well between Kev Allen and Scott Davely. Nice battle there. We'll keep an eye on it. And look at this. This is for 3rd place here. For 3rd place, it is Diogo Silva on Diogo Almeida. He did not try at Tamburello, and in this particular lap now comes the battle for 5th place between Kev Allen and Scott Davely. Let's go and see how things are at the front. And George Zush is in, oh, what happened to What happened to George Jesus? No, he's still there. And the other drivers are also still there. Scott Davely. Where is he? Oh, Scott Davely has lost a lot of time and lost position as well to Sid Waters. So something must have happened between him and Kev Allen. I suspect this was... oh, no, 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 no. It wasn't. He was very close to Kev in Tamburello, and it just shows how tricky this car is. It's a very innocent looking car, and of course GT3 you tend to think that you've got the driver aids as well. Oh, look at this big hit there for Scott David. Fortunately no damage for him, and he tries to resist losing a position there to Sid Waters, but Sid has none of it, and up into 6th place goes Sid Waters. Let's go back and watch the battle for the lead, because Delphi Mora has now recovered some ground there. Has recovered some ground now on lap 4. Diogo Almeida is still ahead of Diogo Silva as well, but we seem to have a battle for the lead now, as Delphi Mora has woken up and is really on top of Jorge Jesus. We'll keep an eye on other battles. It's quite tricky without the leaderboard. We may miss some action, unfortunately, as Jorge this time does not go over the track limits. But look at that, Delphi Mora is coming to take the lead of this race. Surely he is going to take the lead sooner or later. Look at this battle for the lead. These are the top two. Delphi Mora really putting pressure on Jorge Jesus, and now makes a mistake. Jorge Jesus makes a mistake and gets hit from behind by Delphi Mora. This is well, nothing that Delphi could do in there. And the top 4 continue to be the same. Let's go back and have a look at Kev Allen in 5th place. Now 6th is Sid Waters. Oh no, Sid Waters already lost the position to, I believe, Scott Davely. Well, Scott Davely... Ooh, something happened here. Scott Davely lost some ground. Andrew Dalby is sitting last. No, it's not. Something happened to Sid Waters. Sorry, it took me a while to figure out, but surely something happened to Sid Waters, and we are going to try to rewind. With just 9 cars in competition, we can follow multiple races and find out what happened. And this is again at the very end. Alta, this is basically just... Well, he was in last place already. Andrew Dalby, by the way, has lost another position to Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor up into 7th, and this is what happened with that number 14 car. This is a very usual mistake here at Piratella, as Sid Waters just basically lost it, and just too much acceleration, and off he goes. Dale Taylor, by the way, now up into 7th place. 6th is Scott Davely, and 5th is going to be Kev Allen. Kev Allen, no one in sight. Kev Allen very stable there in that 5th place, followed by Scott Davely, followed by Dale Taylor, and then it's Andrew Dalby there at the back. And of course we have now Sid Waters. Sid Waters is in 9th spot. At least everyone is guaranteed a top 10 position today, as long as they can finish the race. As another lap is complete now on lap 5, the top 4 continue to be more or less together. We had that little incident between Jorge Jesus and Delphi Mora, and Delphi is now having a second attempt at getting that lead, as he ideally probably wants to take the lead before the midpoint of this race. And Jorge Jesus looks very twitchy indeed, and I'm not sure he has what he needs at the moment from his car, as he seems to be very twitchy. Now they crash. Now they crash, and this time Delphi Mora goes through. And Diogo Almeida also makes a mistake, so change at the front. Both for the lead, which is now Delphi Mora, and for 2nd place... for 3rd place, sorry, which is now in possession of Diogo Silva. And both drivers, Jorge Jesus and Diogo Almeida, made a mistake in the same corner in Tosa. And this shows what the tire wear is becoming a problem, and surely some drivers are starting to be, well, a little bit more tentative with their car. And Jorge Jesus, for sure, we could see that one coming, because he was a little bit twitchy everywhere. Now Diogo Almeida is trying to get back at Diogo Silva for 3rd place. Let's keep an eye on other drivers. Kev Allen, Scott Davely, everything is still in the same place as it was, except that Del Taylor now is going for 6th place as well. Del Taylor, of course, he had a good qualifying, had good pace. There was that incident in the opening lap which put him back in 9th, but he's now recovering quite nicely. And this is 6th and 7th, and Scott Davely is another driver that looks a little bit twitchy over there. Race leader is now Delphi Mora, now on lap 6. And let's see if we can see all the 4 drivers. And yes, we can. And they're all in the same place as before. Now through the Villeneuve chicane goes Delphi Mora. Let's see how these guys are going to do now at Tosa. Seems to be a bit of a problem, especially some of these guys may be going down to first gear, which then is a little bit possibly too much acceleration. And George Zeus does it again! George Zeus does it again and loses 2nd place. George Zeus loses 2nd place to Diogo Silva, and oh my goodness, this is not good for George Zeus. After winning the first 2 races, he's now down in 3rd place. Look at these, all drivers are battling with this car. Surely, look at this, George Zeus is all over the place. All over the place there at Pirotella. Through the Aqua Minerale, they go Diogo Silva up into 2nd place. George Zeus definitely wants that place back. He's got loads of pace, but so far, 5 laps, 6 laps, 2 mistakes in the same corner, and he's losing time now. And Diogo Almeida is coming now for that 3rd place, except that now the 3rd place is occupied by George Zeus. Let's go back and see Scott Davely versus Del Taylor, and we caught them side by side through the Variante Alta. This is not your usual overtaking point, and Scott, surely that's going to be his corner. Yes, it is, but Dale is probably coming back at him. Del Taylor very interested in that 6th place, and now on lap 6, surely he's going to go now on the run down to Rivazza. They don't go side by side. Scott leaves some space, but of course this is going to be Scott's corner again. And a little bit of a switcheroo attempt there by Del Taylor, but surely this is going to be a matter of time before Del Taylor is in 7th place. He's run side by side now through the start-finish line, and I think his job done, and Del Taylor up into 6th, Scott Davely in 7th. By the way, driving behind is Andrew Dalby. He's coming with a lot of pace. Let's see if Scott can come back at Del Taylor. He can't. Del Taylor now continues his recovery. The next man in... Oh, Del Taylor! Oh no! Del Taylor spins on his own at Tamburello, and all the good work he has done for 6 laps is now completely reset. He loses 7th place as well to Andrew Dalby. He's now sitting in 8th. Let's go back to the race leader. Delphi Mori is on his own now, but what about the others? Yes, the others are battling, and this is George Zeus trying to get back at 2nd place. Diogo Silva, they are both very twitchy indeed, and also what happened in the meantime is that they opened a bit of a gap there from Diogo Almeida, who continues to sit in 4th. But now look at this, George Zeus all over the place there. Complete, well, I would say probably we are entering disregard for track limits territory there, because well, the previous one that we have identified, he did make an attempt to keep it within track limits, but now I think he's just getting a little bit frustrated with his car, and probably with the fact he's already lost a couple of positions as he started this race in the lead. Another lap is complete now. Lap 8 is going on for leader Delphi Mora. 2nd place man is Diogo Silva. Jorge Jesus is very close indeed. Diogo Almeida is losing a bit of ground there in 4th place, as we'll keep a little bit more time with this battle that seems to be... Oh, Diogo Silva makes a mistake there. Almost spins, but now surely he's going to be vulnerable to... George Jesus is going into defensive mode there, into the Villeneuve corner, but George Jesus is having none of it, and he's going around him. No, there's no space there for 2 cars. As a nice battle between these 2 drivers, but wow, what a battle here. Now at Tosa, can both of them go around without any further mistakes? Yes, they can. And Diogo Silva also looking very twitchy there in 2nd place. Let's keep an eye on this battle there. There's Kevalen also making a very good race indeed, as he started 9th, but he's... oh, and look at... Oh, Jorge Jesus is off! Diogo Silva almost off. Jorge Jesus is off and now spins again. Oh no! And Diogo Almeida also got caught up in that incident. We'll get the replay from his perspective. So chase camera there from Diogo Almeida, and he had prime time view of that incident. He had to take avoiding action, I believe, there through Piratella. He goes into the gravel trap, and this is a disaster a little bit for Diogo, but also for Diogo Silva. Almost lost it there at Piratella, and Jorge Jesus actually lost it. Nowhere to go for Diogo, as Jorge was trying to get out of the racing line, but Diogo was coming on the outside. Now Jorge Jesus goes down into 4th place, and he's lost a bit of time. Where is Kev Allen? Kev Allen is... Oh, and Jorge Jesus spins again! Oh no. The championship leader is having a very bad day indeed, a very bad 8th lap, as he made 2 mistakes, and now he's down into 5th place. Would you believe it? Diogo Almeida up into a podium position, even with that incident. 4th place is Kev Allen. 5th place is Jorge Jesus. 6th is Scott Davely. 7th is going to be Dale Taylor. No, Dale Taylor is not in 7th. It's Andrew Dalby. I'm sorry, Andrew Dalby in 7th and very close to 6th. Then it is Dale Taylor, followed by... in fact, Dale Taylor is now in 9th place because Sid Waters has gone through. So not the ideal day for Dale Taylor either. But what a day for Delphi Murray. He's going to score his first win of the season if he can crack on for a couple of laps. Now 2nd place man is Diogo Silva, running on his own. 3rd place man running on his own as well is Diogo Almeida in that number 44, and the first battle is for 4th place, so we'll ride with them for a while. It's that number 28 of Kev Allen with Jorge Jesus maybe a second and a bit behind in 5th spot. 6th is Scott Davely, and Andrew Dalby has made another mistake, or he lost more time because he's now, well, he's still in 7th, but he's under pressure from Sid Waters, and now tire wear is definitely becoming an issue. We'll keep an eye on this battle, as Andrew Dalby, who was making such a good recovery after that initial spin at the Variante Alta, he is now losing time again. And what a day for Dale Taylor. I'm not sure, is he in the race still? Yes, he is in the race. He's in 9th spot, but now he's actually very far from everyone else. Jorge Jesus then running wide there at the Variante Alta. He's trying to recover that 4th place. There is Diogo Almeida still on the screen there. He's in 3rd. We'll keep an eye on the top 3, make sure that they remain on track. And look at Kev Allen becoming quite twitchy there through Rivazza. And Jorge Jesus, well, Jorge Jesus maybe still has a shot at the podium. Maybe, just maybe, he's got a shot at the podium. But first he needs to attack Kev Allen and get that 4th place back. Let's keep an eye on Andrew Dalby there. Andrew Dalby still under pressure from Sid Waters. It's the battle for 7th place. And consistency is quite key in a race like this. It's only a 20-minute race, but still plenty of time to make mistakes, especially with a twitchy car like this. Andrew Dalby has had a couple of them, and now he's got another one. Oh, and they go in sympathy, and Sid Waters is the one that spins. And Sid, I think he was just trying to follow Andrew Dalby's guidance through Tamburello there, but the fact is that Andrew Dalby was also running off track. Now, does this mean that Sid has lost the 8th place? No, he hasn't. He's still in 8th with that green number 14. Let's keep an eye on... Oh, and no, he's made another mistake there. He's made another mistake, and now his tires are probably gone. Dale Taylor could actually go up into 8th spot. Andrew Dalby now alone in 7th. Scott Davely still alone in 6th. 5th place man is, of course, Jorge Jesus. Is battling with Kev Allen. In fact, he's gone ahead. He's gone ahead of Kev Allen. We'll get the replay of this move. Jorge Jesus is back in 4th place, and maybe now he can mount an attack to a podium position. We'll keep well, let's see if this was an actual overtake or just a mistake by Kev, and I think, well, it's probably a bit of a combination. Ooh, nice one there through Piratella, actually. In fact, they were running side by side for a long time, so quite an interesting battle there as Jorge Jesus makes an attack through Tosa. Cavallo very late on the brakes there. Toza leaves the inside line there. Jorge Jesus runs side by side. Now, normally Piratella is not such a great overtaking spot, but Jorge Jesus is already side by side. Kev tries to resist. They run side by side through Piratella and do not misuse track limits, which is quite amazing. And there through Aqua Minerale, finally Jorge Jesus goes back into 4th place. That's a game, set and match for Jorge Jesus, and there is Diogo Almeida. Can Jorge Jesus still have a shot at the podium? Delphi Moura continues to lead this race, by the way, followed by Diogo Silva, followed by Diogo Almeida in 3rd. There is Diogo Almeida coming down to Rivazza, and where is Jorge Jesus? He cannot be seen on the same screen, as he's still a few seconds behind. I'm not sure, with just a couple of laps left in the race, that George has a realistic shot at the podium. 5th is Cavallo and 6th is Scott Davely. Scott Davely there in 6th place. 7th is Andrew Dalby. 8th is Sid Waters. And 9th is, well, where is Dale Taylor? Is he ahead or behind? And the answer is he's behind. So let's go back to the battle there. Let's go back and see if we can establish where Jorge Jesus is compared to Diogo Almeida. It seems to be at least 3-4 seconds behind. Just a couple of laps left, and Jorge Jesus still trying to definitely get rid of Cavallo and consolidate that 4th place. Now we're coming through the danger zone of this track, at least for Jorge Jesus. He already did a half spin in Toza twice, 3 times. Lucky this time around he does go around without any incident. Cavallo in 5th spot. Let's go and see what's happening between Sid Waters. When Sid Waters is having trouble, definite trouble, and he loses the position there to Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor up into 8th place. Only a couple of laps to go and still battles through the field. But it is Delphi Moura who is going to go for the first win of the season, surely, as he has. Let's see what the gap is to Diogo Silva. Is a long gap, is at least, well, 10 seconds easily, as Diogo Silva now in 2nd place. Now what's happening with Diogo Almeida? Where is he? He is a few seconds behind Diogo Silva. So all what these drivers have to do is just to keep it on the track, keep it on the tarmac for one more lap, and there will be a top 3 there for Portuguese. In fact, it's top 4 because Jorge Jesus is running 4th now. Let's see the gap between Jorge Jesus and Diogo Almeida. Diogo Almeida crosses the line. Jorge Jesus is a few seconds behind. He will have to do a lot of work or rely on a mistake by Diogo. But one thing that Jorge Jesus has managed to do is to completely check out from Cavallo, who is now sitting in 5th. Then is Scott Davis. Scott is coming a long way back. And then is Andrew Dalby. We saw him there. Then it is Sid Waters, and look at this is still the battle not to finish last, and it's still quite an active battle with, well, look at Sid Waters. Oh, Sid Waters gets the track, but no need for a penalty because he definitely spun on his own. And now just with one lap left, he is going to finish 9th surely, as Delphi Moura comes to cross the line. He is at the Aqua Minerale corner now at the Variante Alta. And Delphi Moura is going to score his first win of this season, the All Fox Racing PlayStation Backpain GT3 series. And of course, what a series this is, with racing Bathurst already. Now it's Imola, then is the Nordschleife, then is Spa, and finally Barcelona. So plenty of actions to come in this championship, as Delphi Moura is now going to cross the line. What a dominant win. He was quick and he was consistent. Other drivers were consistent but not quick, and other drivers were quick but not consistent. The only one that has managed both is Delphi Moura, and he's won the race here at Imola. 2nd place is going to be Diogo Silva. Good race also for Diogo, and a good 2nd place for him. 3rd is going to be another Diogo. And look at this, Diogo Almeida taking it very easy on the final lap, but still is going to manage a podium, followed by Jorge Jesus in 4th. 5th is going to be Kev Allen. 6th is going to be Scott Davely, and a good consistent race by the American driver is rewarded with the 6th place. Now, where is Andrew Dalby? Andrew Dalby is there in 7th. 8th is going to be Dale Taylor. There he is now through Rivazza, and he's going to enter the final corner very, very shortly. That number 10 Hot Wheels car. And he finishes in 8th place. He's going to cross the line. And 9th is going to be Sid Waters as we wait for him to take the checkered flag. All the drivers that started have finished, and this completes coverage in the Lavaredo channel of race number 1 of round 2 of this series. We hope we join you join us for future rounds. Until then, it's bye-bye.